Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to another episode of Transfer Talk. And today, obviously, which is a very special day for Spurs fans. We've waited a long time for it, but we finally made our first and, in the last couple of minutes, our second signings. So, just waiting for official confirmation here from Tottenham about the Ndombele signing. It was reported on Sky Sports News in the last couple of minutes that we have completed the signing of Ndombele for a club record £65 million. Now, this is a deal that has been reported a lot in the last month or so. We were also interested in him last year, but of course that didn't come through. He ended up signing for Lyon for £7 million. He'd already been on loan there for a year. But this deal has now been completed, according to Sky Sports. It's been, we've been waiting all day. We've been told an announcement is imminent, and it's obviously a club record deal, £65 million. It is an unbelievable signing. It's a real statement signing. Like teams like Chelsea, Man City, Real Madrid were all interested in him, but he has chosen to come to Tottenham. Sky Sports said that at 9 o'clock this morning he began his medical in a hospital in North London. Then by 12 o'clock he was at Hotspur Way, I suppose finishing up the last bits of the contract and doing his bits with the media for when the announcement does come out. And then apparently at about 1:45 he signed that contract. So he signed a 5-year deal with the club with an option for a 6th year. And like his wage at the moment is unknown, but the deal has been done, and that's the important bit. £65 million is absolutely massive, especially when it's Daniel Levy who's our chairman. He had a really good season last year with Lyon in the league, in the French league. He was in the team of the season for the league as well, and he's such a similar player to Moussa Dembele. He's plays in the middle of the park, kind of a holding midfield position. He's box to box. He's really good in possession. He's difficult to knock off the ball. Defensively, he's really good as well. He's hard to get past, and he's a physically strong player. And considering he was turned down by a lot of clubs when he was younger because he was overweight, the way he has turned his career around is absolutely amazing. And I think the main thing he has that Moussa Dembele didn't have is that ability to pass the ball. Like Dembele could carry the ball past 4 or 5 men, but he always just lay it off to a man beside him. He wouldn't look for that forward pass. But that's not what Ndombele does. He picks out some unbelievable passes. He had really good stats for his passing in the French league last season, and I think he's going to be really important for us in making that transition from defence to attack, because as we know last season Moussa Sissoko was kind of that player who picked up the ball deep and ran forward as much as he could, but he never really had that final ball. He's always disappointing in that area, and I'm just looking for this official confirmation here, but there's nothing yet. Sissoko, that final ball always kind of let him down. Like he could run the length of the pitch, but the final product, even if he was passing or shooting, we all remember that chance against Liverpool. But now Ndombele is in, and I don't know if it'll be a thing where he plays with Sissoko or if it'll be with Winks, because we can't forget Harry Winks. I mean, he had a really good season last year, his first full season kind of without injury, and he really stood out, and he was pivotal to us throughout the season, especially in that Champions League campaign. Probably our best player in the final as well. But everyone's been saying Ndombele besides Sissoko, that French connection to absolute powerhouses. But we can't forget about Harry Winks, and at the end of the day, Sissoko could push on to a more attacking role. That is something that was spoken about last season. He's just so good in possession, apart, of course, from that final ball. So it could be a thing where we see Sissoko used in that rotation up front, behind Harry Kane, Son, Lucas, Eriksen if he stays, and of course Dele Alli. But no, it's an unbelievable signing. It's a real statement signing. A player who was wanted by a lot of teams across Europe, and I mean he's chosen Tottenham, and we heard the comments from him a couple of weeks ago where he said that he wanted to join Tottenham. They're a big club, so good in the Champions League, finished top 4 again. Who wouldn't want to join them? But now thankfully that deal, as it looks, is done, and it's looking exciting for next season. Now the other signing we made this morning was of course Jack Clarke. He signed from Leeds on a 4-year deal, but was immediately loaned back, which isn't ideal, but at the end of the day, Pochettino knows what's best. Clarke played with Leeds, of course, in the Championship last season. He made 22 appearances in the league and 3 appearances outside of it, but a lot of them were substitution appearances. I think he only made 5 starts, and in total he only played 9 full games worth of minutes. So, it wasn't the most influential season a player's had, but he made his debut in October and was really pushing on. He had a massive leap in December in the game against Aston Villa. Leeds were 2-0 down, they brought Clarke on, and he changed the game. He scored a goal and they turned it around and won 3-2. But you might remember a Leeds player actually collapsed during a game on the dugout late last year, it might have been January, and it actually was Clarke. So he missed a month through that horrible injury, but he came back after it. He wasn't quite the same, but he's still a really good player. And with him heading off to Leeds, I think obviously a lot of fans are annoyed about it, and I can see why. I would love to have seen him into the squad this season. As he said himself in his interview, he's a really direct player. He likes to create opportunities, and he idolises Heung-min Son, which is obviously the thing that he'd be trying to repeat. But going back to Leeds, it's Marcelo Bielsa as the manager there, who Pochettino was called his football father. He's the player the manager who first discovered Pochettino. So there is a really good connection there, and I imagine there's something in there that Clarke has to get a certain amount of minutes in the league this season. Otherwise, I don't see why Pochettino would agree to this deal. But Bielsa plays really similar football to Pochettino. He has a really similar philosophy. That kind of fast-paced press up front will be a big part of Clarke making that jump into the Premier League. It's going to be a lot more difficult. But he's going to get a lot more first-team action at Leeds this season. And like I said, while it would be good to get him into the team for his development and in the long term, this is without a doubt the best decision that could be made, because at 18 years of age, he doesn't even have one full season of professional football in him. It would be so difficult to throw him right into the deep end, throw him into the first team. And the only other alternative to that is have him sitting on the bench or playing with the reserves. At the end of the day, playing in the Championship is better than that. So while I would like to see him, this is probably the best call. And I mean, if this is what Pochettino wants, we just have to assume it's what's best for the player. £8.5 million, I think the fee was, and anyone who's watched the Championship last season will know that is an absolute steal. Leeds fans are furious with it. £8.5 million, rising to 12 million in add-ons. Apparently, Leeds fans aren't happy with that, and it can only be a good sign for us. So I really look forward to seeing him in the team in the next couple of years. But of course, as for this year, he will be playing with Leeds in the Championship, and I'll be keeping a close eye on them, and hope that he can lead into promotion. Let him do something this year. Maybe win a trophy down there. Could be the league or the playoffs, whatever it is. I hope he has a good, successful season and gets a massive confidence boost coming into the team next year. There's also a bit of news on the departure side of things. We heard a couple of months ago that Fernando Llorente would not be signing a new contract. Tottenham missed a clause in his contract to extend it by a further year. Now, Llorente is 34, but he had a major impact on our season last year. He set up that winning goal for Kane against PSV. He, of course, scored the goal against Dortmund, the third goal that effectively killed off the tie. And then out in Manchester City, scored that goal that got us through the semi-final. And then in the semi-final, big part in that last-minute winner. So he also had some good moments in the league as well, but he was kind of the first player that we've had behind Harry Kane that actually influenced the team. Like Roberto Soldado and Vincent Janssen, our last couple of strikers, didn't really have that effect. They were just good players until they came to Tottenham, and they kind of just couldn't repeat that at the club. So it is sad to see Llorente go. There was a bit of hope that he would sign a new contract, because the news we heard when Tottenham sent their list of released players to the Premier League, it was Sky Sports who sent that out, and Fernando Llorente was on it. Now, when that came out, Michel Vorm was also on it, and there was a lot of official things from Vorm on his own personal Twitter account. He said goodbye, thank you to the club, thank you to the fans, and the club also sent a tweet out that their Vorm is leaving. But there was never anything from that side of things about Llorente, so there's always a bit of hope. I don't know if I'm the only one, but personally I hoped there was always kind of a possibility there that he would sign a new contract, and because it was a separate contract, his current contract would have to run out, and then his next one would kick into place. It was always going to be a thing where we would have to officially say to the Premier League that he was released because his current contract would expire. But we haven't heard anything more on that until now. Of course, yesterday or the day before, that contract did run out, and he has now officially left the club. Again, nothing to say that he has signed a new contract. But today, his player profile from the Tottenham website has been removed. So it does kind of look like that is over. Again, I'll be absolutely delighted if we do see something, if he does sign another year extension, or if he does even do something to go into a coaching role at the club, because at 34, he would probably be looking towards retirement now if he is leaving the club. So, massive effect on us this season, a really, really good player. And it will be sad to see him go. There's still nothing official now from Tottenham about the Ndombele deal, but it is on Sky Sports. We have signed Tanguy Ndombele for £65 million. He signed a 5-year contract with an option for a 6th year, and there's no talk of wages yet. But I do imagine that would absolutely smash the wage structure in place, because like teams, as I said, Real Madrid, Man City looking into signing him. Chelsea were interested, but of course have that transfer embargo this summer. So I imagine it will maybe be up on a par with Harry Kane's £200,000 a week, maybe more. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days, coming weeks. In terms of other signings that are coming in, AS are reporting that we've agreed a deal with Real Madrid to sign Dani Ceballos on a season-long loan. Now, Ceballos, up until last night, was away for the Under-21 European Championships, which he actually won with Spain last night. They beat Germany 2-1 in the final. So it does feel as though if anything is going to happen in that deal, it would escalate in the next couple of days. This is when it will obviously come into effect because he was busy. Again, a really good signing. I don't know if this is a thing, if it's instead of Lo Celso, or if he's been brought into place, and then if Eriksen goes, Lo Celso will come in. I hope it's as well as either Eriksen or Lo Celso, because we'll have such a strong attacking line if that is the case. Ceballos is a really good player. He's a young player. He's been in and out of Real Madrid's team this season, and he has said himself that it wasn't his best season. But he made comments a couple of days ago. I think he was interviewed before the semi-final. He was asked about his future at club football, and he said he doesn't want Real Madrid to sell him, but if he's not going to make it in this team, he will have to make the decision to move on. And I think it's important. He said he doesn't want them to sell him, so he kind of leaving that door open for a potential loan deal, and now that's what's being reported. There's apparently a clause in that contract that if when the loan expires next summer, if there's no clarification around his future at Real Madrid, Spurs will be obligated to buy him, which I mean is unreal because we'd have such a good team. Even if Eriksen does go, it's really shaping up to be a good couple of years for us. Another one is Ryan Sessegnon. Actually, his brother Steven Sessegnon is part of that as well. Ryan Sessegnon is apparently an announcement for his signing is imminent. Now, Sky Sports haven't reported much about this. It's been mainly rumours, which they have themselves addressed on their the blog on their app, but they've never really had it on air. And there's nothing from Sky sources about the deal. But apparently there's a £30 million double deal for Ryan and Steven Sessegnon going to be announced imminently. I don't know how true that is, but we were told there's going to be 7 players in, 7 players out. That is, of course, Clarke and Ndombele already, Ceballos and Lo Celso maybe soon, Ryan and Steven Sessegnon, and then a right back, which the only name that has been officially thrown about so far is Hiraki Sakai from Marseille. But Sessegnon had a difficult season in the Premier League last year, playing with Fulham, but there was a lot around there that made it so difficult for him to do well. I mean, they spent over £100 million in the transfer window, completely changed the face of that team. And obviously, ultimately, that didn't work. But they also had 3 managers throughout the season, and there was never any consistency there in the style of play, and certainly never any consistency in their form. But they kind of, had a bit after they were relegated when Scott Parker took over. So I think you can kind of forgive Sessegnon for that. Also, he's only 19, making that step up to the Premier League is so difficult. So I think you can forgive him for that, and you kind of have to look towards his form in the Championship the season before, when he was playing left back, and he was one of their biggest attacking threats, and he was so solid defensively as well. I mean, there's one game there for Fulham where he scored a hat-trick from left back. So he can play anywhere along the left, and apparently it's going to be 25 million for him and 5 million for Steven Sessegnon. Now, we don't know anything about Steven Sessegnon. He hasn't made a professional appearance for Fulham. He played 9 times for them in the Premier League 2 youth league last year. He had 1 assist, so he wasn't very effective there. But if it's a thing we have to do in order to get Ryan Sessegnon, I'm sure it's good. He will be loaned back to Fulham if we do successfully sign him. Which, I mean, I'd be happy with. He's not someone who'll be in our first team now, similar to Clarke, although Clarke is a much better player. He wouldn't be in our first team yet, so get him back to where he's used to, get that development going a bit more, and then get him into the team when he's ready. So all in all, it's shaping up to be a really exciting transfer window. As always, there's that bit of frustration with Levy. He takes too long to get the deals done. We were told yesterday, Monday, we get the announcement for Clarke and Ndombele and the new kit. That never came. Now this morning we got the Clarke announcement, but he's holding last season's jersey. So I don't know, are they holding off on the kit announcement until they sign Ndombele, which, I mean, mainly because the transfer fee will be a much bigger signing. So I don't know if that's the thing they're looking at, which is, I suppose, will be happening in the next few minutes, a few hours, if that is true. But it's going to be an exciting couple of months to see just what Daniel Levy can do this window. He knows himself, if he wants to keep Pochettino at the club, he needs to just make these signings. He needs to destroy that tactic they have of signing young players for cheap, developing them, selling them on for more. He needs to make big signings, and it looks like he's realised that. And another thing about that Clarke signing, I meant to say, it's maybe a good sign that Pochettino has now signed a young player and he's loaned him out, and it is a player for the future, which could suggests that Pochettino's long-term thoughts are still with the club. There's a bit of doubt before the Champions League semi-final, I think it was, when he said if they win the Champions League he'd have to go home. Obviously we didn't do that, but still the doubt was still there. So this is maybe a sign that he's still looking at the future at Tottenham. So I mean, it's good news. There'll be no downside to that. But massive signing for us in Ndombele. I don't think we'll have another big money signing unless Eriksen leaves. I can't see Alderweireld leaving this summer, so I don't think we need a centre back. Juan Foyth is doing really well with Argentina and the Copa America, so he might be in the first team a bit more next season. He played really well when he did get in there. So that's 4 centre backs: Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Sanchez and Foyth, and of course Dyer can play there if he's needed, although his future is in a bit of doubt. Left back, we have Danny Rose and Ben Davis. Ryan Sessegnon apparently coming in. Danny Rose could leave. You only really need 2 full backs, and if necessary Jan Vertonghen can pull out there as well. Right back, that's kind of still all over the place. Trippier and Aurier didn't do it last season for us. Kyle Walker-Peters, he just doesn't get enough game time, and even when he did, he wasn't the best player. He made that big mistake in the game against Barcelona at the Nou Camp, which thankfully in the end worked out okay for us. We got the draw and we made it through. So right back is definitely a position that needs addressing. Now Steven Sessegnon is the right back, but as I said, not a first team player. In the middle of the park, Winks, Sissoko, Dyer, maybe, and now Tanguy Ndombele. So we look set there. In behind the striker, countless options. Son, Lucas, Lamela if he's still there, Ali, Eriksen if he stays, if not Lo Celso, and of course Harry Kane up front. So I'm optimistic for the season coming up. Of course that's the perfect way to set up a disappointment, but get a few more signings over the line. I don't think we'll be challenging for the league this season because Man City and Liverpool are just too strong. They don't look like they'll be strengthening their teams too much this summer, but still they have 98 and 97 points last season. I think they are just a bit too strong at the moment, but there's no reason why we can't make it to another Champions League final and maybe go one better. But I think this season our focus should be on the domestic cups and top 4. FA Cup preferably, but I mean, wouldn't be disappointed if we won the Carabao Cup. It's been 11 years since we won anything, so at this stage we take a Carabao Cup, but we just need to get that first piece of silverware and give those players a taste of what it feels like to win something, and hopefully that will spur them on, and the next couple of seasons could be really, really exciting. It just all depends really on what we do in this transfer window, and so far it's shaping up well. So if you do want more content like this, please subscribe to the channel down below. It is completely free, and if you press the notification bell as well, you get notifications whenever I upload a video. I'll be doing a lot about transfers over the summer, and then when the season starts I'll be doing as many match previews and reviews as I can. Please don't forget to like this video as well, and thanks for watching.